Let's cut through the noise. Toxic people don't steal your peace. You give it away the moment you let their chaos live rent-free in your mind. The truth is simple. You can't always choose who enters your life, but you can always choose who gets to stay, and how much influence they're allowed to have over your energy, your thoughts, your direction. The Stoics understood this clearly. The real battlefield is never out there. It's inside, in that quiet space between what someone does and how you decide to respond. That space is where power lives, and most people give it up without realizing it. Out of habit, guilt, or hope that others will change, many keep the door open far longer than they should. But strength begins the moment you decide that your boundaries are worth defending, not aggressively, not emotionally, but deliberately. Your peace is not something to negotiate. It's something you protect through choice and discipline. In this video, you'll learn 8 clear, no-nonsense Stoic strategies to deal with toxic people without losing your clarity, your dignity, or your self-respect. By the end, you'll see this truth for what it is. Your power was never up for grabs. It has always been reflected in your decisions, especially those where you choose to stand your ground. Welcome to Stoic Daily, where your story matters. Share your biggest struggle or a lesson you've learned below. Every comment you leave is a gift. Here, your voice matters. We read with care, answer with heart, and treat your journey as part of our own. This is more than a channel. It's a circle of strength, ready to take back control. Type in the comments, "I protect my peace." Stay for all 8 lessons. Your clarity starts now. 1. Forgive, but don't forget. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook or pretending the pain never happened. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of resentment so you can move forward without dragging the past behind you. The Stoics understood this clearly. Real forgiveness is an act of self-mastery, not a sign of weakness. You don't have to invite a toxic person back into your life. You don't have to erase what they did. You refuse to let anger become the force that shapes your thoughts, your mood, and your future. I learned this the hard way. Years ago, I trusted someone deeply with my vulnerability, only to watch them twist my words and betray that trust. For months, the sting followed me everywhere. Every time their name surfaced, the wound reopened. But the longer I held on to that anger, the clearer the truth became. It wasn't hurting them. It was draining me like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to feel sick. The moment I chose to forgive, it wasn't about excusing their behavior. It was about reclaiming my peace, and I didn't forget. The memory didn't disappear. It changed. It became a scar, a reminder not of pain, but of growth. That scar taught me to trust with discernment, to choose my inner circle carefully, and never to confuse openness with carelessness again. Forgiveness is strength. It takes courage to release anger, even when you feel justified in holding on to it. But forgetting is different. Forgetting is how old wounds find their way back into your life, wearing new faces. Here's the more profound truth. If you erase the lesson, you risk repeating the same pain. The scar stays, not to limit you, but to guide you. It sharpens your awareness. You notice red flags sooner. You hold your boundaries with less guilt and more clarity. Your peace becomes protected by wisdom, not fear. This is the Stoic way. Release the bitterness, but carry the lesson forward as your shield. Try this. Think of someone who wronged you. Don't reach out. Don't reopen the door. Instead, take a quiet moment to release the anger in your own mind. Ask yourself, what did this teach me about trust, about myself, about my boundaries? Notice what happens in your body as you let go. Does it feel lighter, steadier, more controlled? How would your life change if you stopped carrying old poison, but never forgot the lesson? At Stoic Daily, we believe forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, and wisdom is the shield you carry forward. Type, I free myself, but I keep the lesson in the comments. Who or what are you ready to finally release today? 2. Limit their access. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Some people, whether they're family, old friends, or co-workers, earn only general admission. And some don't even need a seat at all. A view from the parking lot is more than enough. The Stoics understood this clearly. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's survival. When someone is toxic, draining, or constantly crossing your boundaries, the most rational act of self-respect is to limit their access to you. I used to be a people pleaser, always answering calls, listening for hours, bending myself out of shape for people who never returned the same care. It took one long, draining, never-ending phone call for the realization to hit. Not everyone deserves unrestricted access to my energy, my time, or my attention. The psychology is simple. When you allow toxic people to be too close, you train your nervous system to live in defense mode. You're always bracing for criticism, manipulation, or emotional chaos. Over time, this constant tension wears you down. It breeds anxiety. It quietly erodes your confidence, making you question your worth. Setting boundaries doesn't mean cutting people off completely. Often, it's subtle. Shorter answers, less emotional investment, not sharing every detail of your life with someone who feeds on drama or conflict. Distance doesn't have to be dramatic to be effective. Try it. When the chronic complainer starts in, respond calmly with, "What do you think you'll do about it?" Then stop engaging. Watch how quickly the conversation loses energy. If a relative criticizes your life choices, don't explain or defend. Nod, smile, and keep your plans private. At work, when the office gossip circles in, say, "I'm not really into drama," and step away. It may feel awkward at first, but take note of the shift. Their influence weakens. Your confidence grows. Each time you reinforce a boundary, you reclaim energy. You send a clear signal to yourself that your well-being comes first. Over time, it becomes obvious who respects you and who only wants a backstage pass to your emotions. Remember this, you are the bouncer to your own VIP club. The people who support, respect, and uplift you earn the closest seats. The rest can wait outside without explanation. Try this. For the next week, map your relationships like circles around you. Who is closest? Who drains you? Who leaves you feeling lighter? And who leaves you tense? Practice creating space. Delay replies. Keep conversations brief. Share less. Politely excuse yourself when needed. And if you worry people will see you as cold, ask yourself this. Would you rather be liked by everyone or respected by the right people? How does your mood shift when you choose who gets access to your energy? Notice how much lighter, calmer, and more focused you feel when you intentionally protect your peace. At Stoic Daily, we believe your peace is worth protecting. Drop "I set my boundaries" in the comments. Who needs to move out of your VIP section this week? 3. Use humor to diffuse their power. Here's a truth few admit. Toxic people don't just insult to wound you. They do it to control the atmosphere, pulling everyone into their cycle of tension. The real weapon isn't the comment itself. It's their ability to hijack your attention and your mood. When you meet their drama head-on by arguing, defending, or snapping back, you step straight into their game. The Stoics understood this well. What you resist tends to persist. But what you can meet with calm, even a light smile, starts to lose its grip on you. Humor isn't about dismissing pain or tolerating disrespect. It's about breaking the script. When you answer tension with calm, light wit, you change the emotional temperature of the room. You quietly refuse the role they cast for you. Psychologically, humor works because it disrupts the toxic person's pattern. They rely on your seriousness or your outrage to feel powerful. A well-timed, gentle joke, sends a clear signal. Your sense of self isn't up for negotiation. You won't be baited into negativity, and others can feel that shift immediately. But here's the key. Genuine humor is light, never cruel. Sarcasm or cutting jokes only escalates the situation and hands the toxic person a new weapon. The goal isn't to embarrass them, it's to deflate the drama so it can't breathe. I once had a coworker who loved picking apart everything, from my work to my desk and even my small habits. Their criticism was bait. The old version of me would have explained, justified, or bristled. One day, instead, I smiled and said, "Yeah, creative chaos. My brain must be working overtime." The room laughed. The tension broke. The power shifted. Their attack felt small because I refused to play the role they had written for me. Here's the deeper psychology. Toxic people feed on reactivity. Their influence grows the moment you show irritation, defensiveness, or hurt. Humor is subversive. It signals that their words can't shake your center, that your mood isn't something they get to control. Each time you choose wit over war, you reinforce your own authority. You train yourself to stay sovereign over your inner climate, rather than surrendering it to someone else's behavior. Try this. The next time you sense someone poking for a reaction, at work, at home, or even online, pause. Before you respond, ask yourself one question. Is their drama really my responsibility? If you reply, keep it light, genuine, and brief. Enough to protect your boundary, but not enough to escalate the moment. Notice what follows the relief of staying grounded, the quiet confidence of not being pulled into chaos. Reflect, honestly. How much energy do you reclaim when you stop letting others script your emotions? What would change if manipulation met calm instead of tension? At Stoic Daily, we believe true strength is the ability to keep your inner climate steady, even when others try to disturb it. Type, "I stay light, I stay free," in the comments. When was the last time you diffused drama with calm instead of force? 4. Know when to walk away. Walking away from a toxic person isn't simply about ending a relationship. It's about reclaiming your life, your energy, and your peace. It's the moment you stop negotiating with chaos and start choosing yourself deliberately. The Stoics understood this well. Sometimes the bravest act isn't confrontation. It's a quiet withdrawal, choosing yourself over their disorder, again and again. Leaving is rarely dramatic or final. More often, it happens through small, steady decisions that create freedom over time, responding less, limiting contact, and emotionally detaching without anger. Toxic people are skilled at making you doubt this choice. They promise to change, beg you to stay, or wrap guilt around you with words like, "If you leave, you're giving up on me." The pressure isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle, but it's persistent. Society often adds its own weight, especially when family is involved, insisting you owe endless loyalty. But absolute loyalty isn't self-sacrifice that destroys you. It isn't enduring harm in the name of blood or history. True loyalty begins with refusing to abandon your well-being for a relationship built on taking, not giving. I learned this the hard way with a close friend who was magnetic in public but draining in private. Every conversation circled back to their problems. When I needed support, they vanished. The moment my pain was met with indifference, something became clear. It wasn't my role to rescue someone who never reached back when I was drowning. Here's the more profound truth. Walking away isn't an act of anger. It's an act of self-respect, and often an act of self-love. It's a statement that you deserve relationships that strengthen you, not slowly undo you from the inside. Sometimes it's the quiet boundaries that change everything, letting calls go unanswered and stepping back from familiar drama, or calmly saying, "I can't help you with this anymore," without explanation or apology. And yes, sometimes it means choosing distance even from family, when blood ties become excuses for repeated harm. Try this. Think of a relationship where you give more than you receive, where your presence is met with indifference, tension, or chaos. For 1 week, gently pull back, respond less, be less available. Observe what happens inside you. Ask yourself honestly, does the distance bring relief or anxiety? What clarity or energy returns when you stop overextending? What does your nervous system feel like when you choose yourself instead of old patterns? At Stoic Daily, we believe walking away is not a step backward. It's a step toward who you were meant to become. Type "I choose myself" in the comments. What's one boundary you'll set this week to protect your peace? 5. Surround yourself with uplifting people. Being around toxic people is like swimming with weights on your ankles. No matter how strong you are, constant negativity and drama will pull you down, drain your energy, and slowly cloud your vision of what's possible for you. The Stoics understood this clearly. One of the fastest ways to change your life isn't through sheer willpower alone. It's through the company you keep. Uplifting people doesn't just bring light into your life. They remind you of your value, reinforce your growth, and quietly protect you from being pulled back into toxic patterns. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. When you're surrounded by critics, manipulators, or chronic pessimists, you start absorbing their worldview without noticing. You doubt yourself more. You lower your expectations. But spend time with people who want the best for you, who celebrate your wins, challenge you with care, and listen without judgment, and something shifts. You feel lighter, more hopeful, more willing to aim higher. I've lived this transformation. There was a time when toxic connections felt normal. They were familiar. But everything changed the day I met people who genuinely believed in me. People who celebrated my progress instead of minimizing it, and who inspired me to expect more from my relationships and from myself. Their encouragement raised my standards. Slowly, I stopped just escaping negativity. I began moving upward, supported by a genuine connection rather than emotional noise. My circle didn't just change how I felt, it changed how I saw my future. Here's the challenge. Actively seek out people who spark courage, positivity, and growth in you. This may require letting go of old ties, even relationships that have lasted years, if they consistently hold you back or drain your spirit. Loyalty matters, but never at the cost of your peace. Invest in a few genuine, meaningful connections instead of a crowd that leaves you feeling empty. And don't just look for support. Become that source for others. Celebrate their wins. Listen with care. Set a higher emotional standard for every relationship you allow into your life. Try this. For 1 week, pay close attention to how you feel after spending time with different people. Who leaves you feeling energized, grounded, and clear? Who leaves you drained or second-guessing yourself? Make one slight shift. Spend more time with those who uplift you, and gently reduce the time you spend with those who don't. Then reflect honestly. How do your standards change when encouragement surrounds you? What becomes possible when your circle lifts you instead of weighing you down? At Stoic Daily, we believe the right environment strengthens your character and protects your peace. Type "I choose my circle" in the comments. Who truly lifts you, and who might need a seat further from your life? 6. Refuse to engage in their games. The fastest way to lose with toxic people is to play by their rules. Drama, guilt trips, backhanded comments. These aren't honest conversations. They're bait, carefully designed to hook your attention and pull you into their chaos. The Stoics mastered the discipline of not getting hooked. Toxic people know exactly where your buttons are. They provoke, exaggerate, or stir conflict not to resolve anything, but to trigger a reaction and regain control of the situation. The moment you respond emotionally, the game is already lost. Their real strategy isn't to win an argument. It's to drain your energy and control the narrative, using your reactions as proof that they still have power over your mood and focus. I've lived this with family. The subtle digs at gatherings, the sideways comments about your choices, the dramatic accusations are meant to pull you into endless explanations and debates. At first, I tried to explain myself, defend my intentions, even out-argue them. It never worked. My words were twisted, and the tension only grew. Everything shifted when I stopped taking the bait. Instead of defending myself, I'd smile calmly and say, "You're entitled to your opinion," then change the subject. At first, they pushed harder, but when I stayed steady and disengaged, their frustration grew, not mine. Over time, they stopped targeting me altogether. This isn't passivity, it's a strategy. Refusing to engage is a way to reclaim control. Toxic people rely on you feeling obligated to respond, explain, or defend yourself. True strength is deciding where your energy goes and refusing to let pointless games siphon it away. Your silence, or calm, non-committal replies, deny them the reaction they crave. You send a quiet but powerful signal. You don't get to script my emotions. The more you practice this, the weaker their influence becomes. Their drama loses its grip. Your peace stops being fragile and begins to become deliberate. Try this. For the next week, pay attention to what triggers you. When someone tries to pull you into drama or a pointless argument, pause before responding. Ask yourself one question: is this worth my energy? Experiment with neutral responses like, "That's interesting," or "I see," or remove yourself from the situation without explanation. Notice the relief that follows. The clarity. The quiet confidence of staying centered. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you reinforce a powerful truth. Your peace is an active choice, not just the absence of conflict. Ask yourself, how much more control do you gain when you decide who gets your attention and who doesn't? At Stoic Daily, we believe your energy is too valuable to waste on mind games. Type, "I choose peace over drama," in the comments. Where will you set a boundary this week? 7. Stay focused on your purpose. Toxic people want one thing more than anything else: to pull you off course and turn their chaos into your chaos. But when you are anchored to your purpose, their noise slowly fades into the background. The Stoics understood this deeply. Clarity of purpose isn't just self-defense, it's a power move. It's the foundation of real growth, and the reason some people become impossible to derail. When your energy is invested in meaningful goals, petty drama loses its grip on you. A focused mind doesn't have spare attention to be manipulated, and toxic people feel that immediately. That's why they criticize your ambitions, downplay your progress, or demand attention at the worst possible moments. Your growth threatens the stagnant patterns they depend on. The more seriously you build your life, the less patience you have for their games, and the more unsettled they become by your momentum. They'll try to distract you, spread negativity, or frame your goals as selfish, hoping you'll abandon your direction and rejoin their cycle. But beneath it all is one fear: losing their grip on your attention and their influence over your choices. I learned this firsthand in the trenches of office politics. There was a co-worker who thrived on gossip, conflict, and pulling others into their orbit. At first, I wasted hours defending myself and trying to smooth over drama. Every minute spent on their chaos was a minute stolen from my work, my focus, and my well-being. A pattern that had to end if I wanted real progress. Everything shifted when I set clear boundaries. Simple ones: "I'm swamped right now," or quietly walking away. With each small stand, my focus returned, my energy stabilized, my sense of forward momentum returned. As others began prioritizing their own goals, the toxic person's influence waned without confrontation. Here's how you reclaim your purpose in the presence of negativity. Clarify your goals, keep them visible, and treat drama like background noise rather than a call to action. Focus isn't just protection, it's the engine of personal development. Each time you redirect your attention to what truly matters, you send a clear signal to yourself and to others. Your future matters more than someone else's agenda. Say no, calmly and unapologetically, to distractions that don't serve your path, even when that means creating distance from certain relationships. The world may call this selfish, but honoring your purpose isn't selfish. It's essential. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't become who you're meant to be if your energy is constantly scattered by outside noise. Try this. This week, write down your top 3 priorities and place them somewhere visible. When drama pulls at you, check the list before responding. Practice saying, "I'm focused on something important right now." Notice how your mood lifts when progress replaces pointless conflict. Ask yourself honestly, what becomes possible when your energy goes into your own growth instead of someone else's chaos? How would your life change if your purpose became your anchor every single day? At Stoic Daily, we believe your purpose is both your shield and your compass. Type, "I stay anchored in purpose," in the comments. How will you protect your focus this week? 8. Avoid gossiping about them. Gossip can feel like harmless venting, but it's a subtle trap, one that quietly binds you to the very toxicity you're trying to escape. What feels like release in the moment often becomes another chain you didn't realize you were putting on yourself. The Stoics understood this clearly. Every time you speak about someone behind their back, you give them space in your mind. You keep their presence alive. Worse still, you become a participant in their chaos, allowing their behavior to dictate your thoughts, emotions, and conversations. Toxic people feed on attention, especially negative attention. Gossip doesn't weaken their influence, it strengthens it. The more you talk about them, even in complaint, the more power they hold over your inner state. I learned this firsthand. There was a time when a notoriously toxic coworker stirred up constant conflict in my workplace. During breaks, we'd vent and trade stories about their latest behavior. It felt good at first, a sense of shared frustration, even connection. But afterward, I always felt heavier, more bitter, never closer to peace. Worse still, the toxic person eventually found out and used our words to play the victim. The drama didn't end, it multiplied. That's when the pattern became clear. Psychologically, gossip creates the illusion of control or justice. It convinces you that you're reclaiming power. In reality, it keeps the toxic person active in your mind and fuels a cycle of resentment. Attention, even critical attention, validates their impact and extends their reach into your life. Here's the truth. Gossip doesn't free you, it anchors you. The more you talk, the more space they occupy in your thoughts and emotions. True self-respect is choosing not to be pulled down to someone else's level, no matter how tempting it feels to vent. Avoiding gossip isn't about being nice, it's about practicing self-mastery and honoring your own boundaries. When you rise above it, you protect your integrity, your focus, and your peace. Try this. The next time you feel the urge to gossip, pause. Ask yourself one question. Will this help me solve the problem, or will it perpetuate the cycle? If you need to process, talk to a mentor or someone who won't inflame the situation. Stick to facts, not insults. If others start gossiping, gently redirect the conversation or excuse yourself. Notice what happens inside you when you choose restraint over reaction. The lightness, the sense of control, the quiet dignity of not being dragged into noise. Ask yourself honestly, how much energy do you reclaim when you refuse to let someone live rent-free in your head? At Stoic Daily, we believe true strength is silent. built on dignity, not drama. Type, "I rise above the noise" in the comments. Where will you choose silence and self-respect this week? Protect your energy. Build your life. You can't change toxic people. However, you can adjust how much of yourself you share at any time. The real victory isn't fixing them. It's reclaiming your energy, your focus, and your peace of mind. Every time you set a boundary, refuse to play their games, or quietly walk away from drama, you prove something powerful. Your self-respect matters more than their chaos. The world will always offer negativity. That part doesn't change. But your energy is limited, and it's precious. You have goals to pursue, skills to sharpen, and a life to build that no one else can live for you. When you choose clarity over confusion and peace over pointless conflict, their influence begins to fade. You stop reacting, you start directing. If these lessons helped you see toxic behavior more clearly, take a moment to reflect on what you'll do differently moving forward. Share your own strategy for protecting your peace in the comments, and subscribe for more practical insights to help you live with strength, intention, and purpose. At Stoic Philosophy Daily, we believe true power isn't built by fighting battles that were never yours to begin with. It's built by defending your boundaries, honoring your energy, and focusing on the life you're meant to create. Claim your energy. Keep moving forward. And remember, your peace is always worth protecting. See you at the next one. If you're seeking more, discover the full path on my channel, Stoic Philosophy Daily.